In the community, there's always an ongoing debate around whether Ace would be stronger if he was included in post time skip, as a lot of people do think that he was held back by the pre-time skip laws. With Haki literally being invented as he died, it's kinda hard to say how strong Ace would have been if he was still alive, but because of his light novel, we're able to see him with Haki, and so with that, I'm able to make this video and able to actually put him up against some of the stronger combatants in the series. So strap in, I'm gonna go into Ace versus every first commander. But before I get into the video, if you guys enjoy content like this, please leave a like and subscribe, as I will be doing much more content like this. And just with this video, I will be putting up polls for my next few videos or whatnot, or videos that I may not be sure about. So yeah, if you want to give a little bit of a sway on what goes onto the channel, obviously like and subscribe. If you subscribe, you obviously get the notifications and whatnot, and so you'll be able to vote on a certain polls. But that's enough of my rambling. Let's get into Ace versus every first commander. Now before I get into the video, I'm going to have to lay the groundwork, because obviously if I don't, people are going to be thinking, okay, so what is he really going off of? Now, the rules are going to be very simple. Ace is going to get a regen at the end of every round. Ace is also going to be bloodlusted, and if they have prior knowledge of each other, they're obviously going to be able to use it against each other. So if Ace has prior knowledge of Zoro, then he can use it on Zoro, and if Zoro has prior knowledge on Ace, then he can use it on Ace, etc. It's going to happen for every fight. And lastly, the battles will take place on the Onigashima rooftop. So with that being said, I think that's enough for me talking about the rules. Let's get straight into the fights. And much like with my Sanji versus every first commander video, I'm going to be starting off with Katakuri. Now over and over again, I see people debate this fight, and it's a very contentious fight, and I didn't think it would be, but in my opinion, I do think Ace does win, and this is because he has basically everything Katakuri kind of does have with his his future sight and whatnot. But in my opinion, I just think that he has better endurance, and obviously yes, he does have the AP and whatnot to damage Katakuri. So I think that it will be a match of okay, their future sights are going to clash against each other, but what's really going to take effect here is their devil fruits. While Katakuri likes to mimic a Logia, Ace is actually a Logia, and on top of that, it's not just any Logia, it's a fire Logia, which means that he is going to give Katakuri the most problems he's probably had in a long time. I just feel like Ace is probably one of the better counters we've seen amongst all the commanders for Katakuri, because yes, he has fire, yes, he has future sight, he has all these different things. He has the AP, he has the endurance, he has basically everything Katakuri doesn't really want to go up against. So I see Ace edging it over Katakuri. Now if you want to argue that Katakuri is somehow stronger than him, then go ahead, I don't mind that. But in my opinion, obviously with the Ace light novel showing us that he does have future sight, of course we can see him clashing with Whitebeard and whatnot, and we see that Katakuri is susceptible to Gear 4 Luffy with no Ryo and whatnot. So it's kind of like, when I see that, I'm like, I don't know if Katakuri is going to be able to take a lot of Ace attacks. And the thing is that we know Ace can fight for a long period of time, and Katakuri is somebody that is if you don't go down, he's gonna give up eventually. We've seen this. Now obviously with context being involved and whatnot, of course, yes, but either way, I still feel like when it comes down to it, Ace is probably gonna last the longest. He's got the most amount of counters for Katakuri, and it'll just, in my opinion, it's kind of when you factor in all their abilities and whatnot, it's kind of one-sided for Ace. So yes, Ace does beat Katakuri. Next up is the man that's not meant to be named, and of course Ace beats him. He doesn't have any feats, so Ace absolutely whops him. Following up on that man, we have Killer. Now Killer is actually a case to where it's I don't see any way Killer can beat Ace. I'm trying to think of all the ways. Ace's future sight, he has really good arm and haki. Obviously he does have base conquerors. Base conquerors doesn't really do much unless you have obviously advanced conquerors, so you don't really need to be talking about that. But Killer, okay, he's pretty fast, but I mean that's about it. I mean his attacks might not be able to damage Ace because Ace is a Logia. Now of course I'm not going to say Killer doesn't have haki. Killer probably does have haki, and if he's able to land his attacks on Ace, it's going to do some damage, but we haven't seen enough from Killer for me to say yes, he is stronger than Ace. I do believe that Ace would beat Killer in a fight pretty easily. Following up on Killer, we have Marco, and I think this is one we really need to sit and have a conversation about because it gets interesting. The reason their fight is going to be probably the longest out of all the fights here, and it's probably going to be the hardest for me to judge, is because they both have prior knowledge in each other, and with that being said, they also have devil fruits that kind of cancel each other out. With Marco's devil fruit basically nullifying every fire attack we've seen it take, obviously Kaido's and Akainu's, we then have to then think about, okay, so if that happens, then the only one that really has the devil fruit to really like play around with is Marco, because Marco does have his regeneration. Obviously Ace does have his other Logia aspects, but Marco has Haki, so he's able to damage him. But Marco's fire doesn't even burn you, so now you got to think about all these different things. The only one that really does have the ability, as I said before, is Marco, since he can obviously regenerate. Now, with their fight going on for a long time, yes, 100%, I believe that both of them will be fighting for ages, because they both know each other's fighting styles. But in my opinion, I feel like Marco does have more of an upper hand. Although I think Ace does have better Haki, since he does have like really good armor and Haki, and he on top of that does have Future Sight. I don't know if Ace is going to be able to hang in there with Marco because of Marco's experience, and because Marco has seen Ace grow as a fighter. We know that. And what adds on to that is the fact that Marco is going to be able to exploit that, since Ace is a young fighter still. Marco is experienced, and obviously since he has trained Ace and he's seen Ace fight, he knows what mistakes he makes, and he knows how brash Ace can get in battle. So I think what he'll be able to do is be able to use that, lure Ace in, and obviously beat him that way. But I still don't think it's going to be an easy fight. I think it's going to be an extreme diff fight, in fact. And a lot of people may eat me alive for that, but yeah, that's what I believe. Now, if they didn't know each other, I think Ace will be able to edge it out. But look, they know each other, so, and I did say in the beginning that obviously that does play a factor in it. So I personally believe that Marco will be able to beat Ace, mainly because of his prior knowledge on him, and because Ace is still a young fighter. So yeah, Marco will be able to exploit that and whatnot. And yeah, so Marco wins this round. Now, just like his Marco match, I think his match against King is quite literally just going to be him not being able to use his fire that much, since King is going to be impervious to his fire. He lights himself on fire, blows himself up, whatnot. Unless Ace somehow awakens his devil fruit and it turns into blue flames or whatnot, I don't think it's going to be able to damage King. So you got to think about it. All he has is obviously his like raw punches, and I don't think they're going to be hard enough to put King down. Yes, he does have really good strength. Do not get that twisted. He does have really good strength, but he doesn't have enough strength to put King down, and King just has too many AP feats to where it's like, okay, if he does hit Ace a few times, Ace is gonna go down. But don't get me wrong, Ace will be in there for the long fight. But with King's many ways of obviously speeding up and whatnot and doing what he wants to do, I do believe that Ace would lose this fight purely because King is Lunarian. And I just want to say this, for most of King's fights, he wins because he's a Lunarian. It isn't because he's a spectacular fighter or anything. It's because the genes that he has allows him to bypass a lot of people's problems, and he just kind of wins because of his amazing durability and other things that he does have in his back pocket. Following up on King, we have Sabo. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, why are you using Sabo? Isn't he just a better Ace? Well, I mean, yeah, post Marimaro no Mi, but pre-Marimaro no Mi, this is a discussion that we're going to have right now. Pre-Marimaro no Mi Sabo is basically featless. I mean, he does have a few things in there, like we do know that he does have advanced armament, but aside from that, that's about it. Compared to Ace, Ace with that light novel has a triad of feats, and because of that, I'm gonna say that Ace wins. Now, if you want to say that Sabo wins because of betrayal and whatnot, I mean, yeah, you can go ahead and do that. But in my opinion, I believe that Ace edges it because we know he has Future Sight. We know obviously how good he can use his devil fruit and whatnot. And obviously both of them are around the exact same age. I think they both have the exact same amount of experience. You can even say that who would have more experience? No, I think Sabo would have more experience, since I think the revolutionaries are just out there in the field a lot more often. And obviously Ace had what, 4 years of experience before he died. So I believe that Sabo would lose because he doesn't have that many feats. Now, obviously, if we get feats later on, then we can obviously tack that on and be like, okay, maybe. But we don't have any feats of Sabo pre-Marimaro no Mi, and even post-Marimaro no Mi. They're very scathing. Like, we have to literally like look around and with our magnifying glass and be like, okay, yeah, he has this, he has that. But aside from that, I do believe that Ace would beat pre-Marimaro no Mi Sabo. Now, following up on Sabo, we have Zoro. Now, I don't think I really need to sit here and tell you guys how badly Zoro whips Ace's ass. Like, it isn't a contest. He has things that literally count as Ace, and I think the AP of Zoro's is just too potent. If you want to argue the fact that, oh, Ace can do many different things with his Future Sight and whatnot, go ahead. But I'm telling you right now, Ace isn't beating Zoro. Like, it's pretty one-sided. Like, let's not go there. Now, I was just about to get into the last 3 competitors for Ace, and then I was like, I know I'm missing someone. And I was. It's Beppo. Now, obviously, I don't really need to sit here and tell you. Beppo gets put on his ass. Like, it isn't even close. He's getting slammed on his head by Ace. It doesn't matter if he goes too long. It doesn't matter if he wants to transform into like the biggest polar bear there is. He's getting beat. It doesn't matter. So yeah. Now we're done with Beppo. Let's actually move into the final 3 competitors. For the final 3 guys, we have Mihawk, Ben Beckman, and Rayleigh. Now, I don't really need to sit here and tell you guys how badly they put Ace on his ass. Like, if you really want me to do this, I could literally say that make them drop all of their main weapons. Mihawk drops his sword, Ben Beckman drops his gun, and Rayleigh drops his sword. And if they was to fight Ace, obviously not as a group, I'm not saying as a group, I'm saying like individually. If they was to fight him individually, he's gonna get slammed on his head like 25 million different ways. Like, it isn't close at all. These guys bully Ace. So yeah, with that being said, I think that's the end of this section of the video. So in conclusion, Ace beats Katakuri, Beppo, Shiryu, Killer, and Sabo, while he loses to Zoro, Ben Beckman, Mihawk, Rayleigh, and obviously Marco. But as always, if you disagree with me, you know what to do. Comment down below, have an argument about it. Please keep it civil. And yeah, personally, I believe that the Marco one is irking me the most. I know it's the closest fight, and I know people are going to be debating that in the comments. No, I think the Katakuri one's going to annoy a lot of people. I think that's the one that people are going to get upset about. But obviously, if you disagree, go see, type it down below, have an argument about it. I know there's going to be a few people on my side and a few people on your side, so if you want to have that argument, you can. I wanted to do Doflamingo in this video too, but I feel like that is a separate video on its own, and I feel like people would enjoy that because I have very strong thoughts about that fight, and I don't know why people like suddenly think that it goes a different way when I know which way it should be, because I have Dressrosa Luffy at a certain level, and spoiler alert, it's not on Ace's level. Like, I don't get where people got the thing or the thought of when he came out of post time skip he was stronger than Ace. It was never said that, because he never even beat a commander, and Ace was a commander. But let me calm down. Now, with that being said, I think that's the end of the video. I think you heard me rant on long enough. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. I may put a poll up for the next video. I don't know, maybe I'll figure it out. I don't know. But yeah, I love you guys, love your support, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.